Forced Pregnancy and Fetal Experimentation Program. In Unit 731's Twisted Calculus, women weren't just victims, they were factories. Female prisoners of childbearing age were systematically targeted across the Ishii network from 1936 to 1945. Women were forcibly impregnated through rape or forced sexual contact with male prisoners. Male prisoners infected with syphilis were ordered to rape female and male prisoners repeatedly. The rapes continued until infection was confirmed. Once pregnant, women were infected with various diseases: syphilis, plague, cholera, typhus, anthrax. They were exposed to chemical weapons, radiation, crash injuries, bullet wounds, shrapnel injuries. The primary research goal was studying vertical transmission of diseases from mother to fetus. They also studied how much damage reproductive organs could sustain before fetal survival was affected. Vivisection was performed on pregnant women. Live dissection to observe fetal development at various stages. A large number of babies were born in captivity. 0 documented survivors among the infants. Children were likely killed at birth, shortly after, or used in experiments and then executed. Some babies were dissected alive. Female prisoners were referred to as logs, the same dehumanizing term used for male prisoners. Women's bodies were used as incubators for disease research. All evidence of births and experiments was destroyed in August 1945. Bodies were cremated, records burned. They weaponized the ability to create life into a tool that produced only death. Operation Cherry Blossoms at Night. September 22nd, 1945. That was the date California was supposed to become a medieval plague zone. Operation Cherry Blossoms at Night was finalized on March 26, 1945. Lieutenant General Shiro Ishii's plan to attack the U.S. mainland with biological weapons. 5 I-400 class submarines, the largest submarines in the world, would cross the Pacific. Each submarine carried 3 Aichi M6A Saron floatplanes, 15 aircraft total. The planes would be loaded with plague-infected fleas and bombs. Primary target, San Diego, California. Secondary targets, Los Angeles and San Francisco. The mission was kamikaze. Planes would crash into population centers or drop the bombs. Expected casualties? Tens of thousands of Americans. The planes were painted silver with U.S. White Star markings. Japanese pilots considered this a dishonor, but accepted the mission. Chief of Army General Staff Yoshijiro Umezu initially vetoed the plan due to logistical problems. The Navy didn't have 5 I-400 submarines ready. But in August 1945, as more submarines neared completion, Umezu reconsidered. August 15, 1945. Japan announced its surrender. August 22nd, submarines received orders to destroy sensitive equipment. The Sarons were catapulted into the ocean without unfolding their wings. Pilot Ishio Obata recalled in 1998 at age 73, "It is such a terrible memory that I don't want to recall it." While America dropped atomic bombs, Japan had its own apocalypse ready, and came within weeks of launching history's first bioterror attack on U.S. soil. The U.S. Immunity Deal, trading justice for data. While Nazi doctors hanged at Nuremberg, Japan's Dr. Mengele received a medal from his emperor. In September 1945, General Douglas MacArthur began the occupation of Japan. Lieutenant Colonel Murray Sanders was assigned to gather biological warfare data. At Sanders' suggestion, MacArthur offered an immunity deal. Full immunity in exchange for exclusive American access to research data. On May 6, 1947, MacArthur formalized the agreement in writing to Washington. Additional data can probably be obtained by informing Japanese involved that information will be retained in intelligence channels and will not be employed as war crimes evidence. Shiro Ishii lived freely in Japan, died of throat cancer in 1959. Never prosecuted. Yoshimura Hisato, the frostbite devil, became a university president. Received the Order of the Rising Sun in 1978. Many Unit 731 members became university professors, pharmaceutical company presidents, self-defense force members, government health officials. At the Tokyo trials, the main war crimes tribunal, Unit 731 was never mentioned. Evidence was classified. The Soviet Union prosecuted 12 members at the 1949 Khabarovsk trials, but the West dismissed the trial as communist propaganda until the 1980s. In 1981, Judge Bert Rolling, who served on the Tokyo Tribunal, expressed bitter experience learning that the U.S. had kept Unit 731 crimes secret from the court. The data quality is disputed. Many scholars say the Americans got little value. Ishii got the better part of the deal. America chose Cold War advantage over justice. The United States became an accomplice in covering up history's largest biological warfare program. Victims were denied justice twice, once by Japan, once by their liberators. While Unit 731 was busy torturing humans, Unit 100 took a different approach. Why kill people when you can starve entire populations instead? Established in August 1936 in Changchun, Manchukuo, this 20-square-kilometer complex had a very specific job: weaponize animal diseases. Led by veterinarian Major Yujiro Wakamatsu, the unit employed 600 to 800 personnel. Their mission was simple: infect livestock with anthrax and glanders to destroy enemy food supplies. Cattle positioned along the Soviet border were deliberately infected. Herds released near Siberia spread epidemics across farmland. They even bred venomous snakes and cultivated toxic plants for weaponization. While everyone thought they were just playing mad scientist with horses, they had a secret side hustle: human experiments. Senior Sergeant Kazuo Mitomo testified in 1949 about feeding prisoners heroin in their porridge. He experimented on the same prisoners 5 to 6 times until they were too exhausted to continue. Then, they'd pump them full of potassium cyanide. One Russian prisoner was executed this way after becoming too weak for further testing. Bodies were buried in the unit's cattle cemetery to hide the evidence. At the 1949 Khabarovsk war crimes trials, 12 members were prosecuted, but most personnel escaped under the U.S. immunity deal. They turned agriculture into a weapon, and cattle graves into mass burial sites for humans. Unit 1644. Nanjing, the Southern Shadow. In the heart of Nanjing, site of the infamous 1937 massacre, Japan built another killing machine. Unit I-1644 was established on April 18, 1939, as a satellite of Unit 731. This wasn't some remote facility in Manchuria. This was a 6-story hospital in central Nanjing, with a 4-story annex for the real work. The complex employed 1,500 men, with a total personnel roster of 2,500. A 3-meter-high brick wall topped with barbed wire and electrified wire kept the operation secure. The 4th floor was off-limits to most staff. That's where the human experiments happened. Plague, cholera, typhus infections on prisoners. An anonymous researcher, name withheld pending family agreement, confirmed regular vivisections. They bred fleas specifically for plague delivery. Contaminated blood was used to infect food or given to flies as biological weapons. In late August 1942, Unit 1644 conducted a biological attack in Yushan County, Jinhua, and Fuqing. They used cholera and plague. Here's the problem with biological weapons: they don't discriminate. 1,700 Japanese soldiers were killed by their own attack. Friendly fire on a scale that would be hilarious if it wasn't so horrifying. When the war ended, all remaining test subjects were killed. The complex was destroyed with explosive charges. But in May 2025, the personnel roster of 2,500 members was publicly displayed at Japan's National Archives. Names, ranks, assignments. The evidence hidden for 80 years is now on museum walls. Unit 516, the Chemical Weapons Laboratory. Unit 516's crimes aren't history. They're still killing people today. Established in May 1939 in Qiqihar, Heilongjiang, this was Japan's Chemical Weapons Division. 414 documented members worked on developing mustard gas, lewisite, chlorine gas, phosgene, hydrogen cyanide. By war's end, they'd manufactured 7.38 million chemical shells. Before surrender, they buried their stockpiles across China. Estimated 700,000 to 2 million chemical weapons were just dumped in the ground. In August 2003, a leaked poison gas canister in Qiqihar killed 1 person and injured 43 others. Road construction teams in Nanjing discovered 2,000 chemical weapons canisters in February 2000. The Ha Yibeling dump site alone contained over 500,000 artillery shells, mortar shells, smoke canisters, and huge drums of chemicals. Japan was ordered by the Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons in 1997 to remove the weapons within 10 years. An estimated 2 million munitions are still unaccounted for. While other atrocities are frozen in time, Unit 516's victims are still being created